To our little license plate here, we're going to add a red line. So I'm going to pick a red color here. And I'm going to draw a long rectangle right across here, just like that. And we're going to add a little red line to it. So in a layer, right here on top of everything, I'll just fill that with that red line, which I'm then going to duplicate straight down right there. Now that we have that, I'm going to take that line, and we'll call it lines, and I'm going to duplicate that. So I have two of them. And I'm going to drag one over the plate and the other one over the outer plate. I'm going to go ahead and clip them, each with their appropriate part of the plate. Here's where it gets a little complicated. This area here is raised ever so slightly. So we're looking, say, down at this license plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ones that go to the inner plate, I'm going to move them down just a little, and I'll take the ones for the outer plate and move them up just a little. And now we can see that there's this little indent that's happening there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in real close, and I'm going to take these lines, the ones that are on top here, and I'm going to select this little portion right here of the line. Extend it quite a bit so that I can have control on this side only. Let's just go in there and select it like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select that area, and let's get a little tighter on it, giving me better control. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go and warp it. I'm going to say transform and warp. So I'm going to grab this end of it and kind of make it line up right up there with that part of my license. So let's just move these handles so that they all match up perfectly, and move this up right there like that, and click OK. And you see that now it's got that little rounded feeling to it. So it's matching up to that line, and I could be really accurate and take my time and do that part. Let's get a little more accurate down here. So I'll just select this long portion right there of the line and go in there and say warp. And I'll grab this guy and bring it up, bring its handle up, so it just matches the top there, and bring this guy up and take its handle and bring it up until it just matches that edge. And there we see that we have this little round edge, like that. Now let's really complicate this. Let's just say that we want our license to be at a slight angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the layers that make up the license plate. I have them all selected, so I'm going to go in there and say, let's maybe do a little skewing on it or something, just to kind of mess things up a little bit like that. Okay, we got that. Let's go in there, and first we got to rasterize our type. Let's go in there and rasterize that type so we can really manipulate this even further. Rasterize the type, so now it is just pixels. So now I can go in there and distort this even better. So I'm going to go in there and say distort, and I'm going to bring this side down like that. So now we're really looking at this license plate at an angle. So now what happens here in this particular case is that now the layer styles are pretty much equal on all sides, which doesn't quite work the same. So what I need to do now is to go in there and separate the layer styles from these various elements. I'm going to do it just from the numbers for now. I got the bevel and emboss, so I'm going to go in there and say layer, layer style, create layers. And now that they're separate layers, I can go in there and take the shadow area and move it in a little bit. Move it in so it's not so pronounced. And I can take the highlight area and move that over. So now we see more of the highlight area and less of the shadow area, making it look like it is, in fact, the plate that we want. The same thing is going to happen to this plate here. I'm going to go in there and say layer, layer styles, create layers. And there we can take the dark area, the shadow. In this case, we're going to move it out. See, I'm pushing my little cursors going to the right, so I'm seeing less of it right in there. And then I'm going to take the highlight area and move that over as well to the right, giving me more of that edge visible here. So now you can see that the end result now is that our license is now at an angle with the highlights showing more predominant on this side, the shadows being less predominant on that side, giving me that three-dimensional look to my license plate.